Alright, in this tutorial video, I would like to focus on how anxiety and fear affect form. Let's look at your stance on the heavy bag, your balance, your chambering, you're utilizing the low peekaboo guard, and your rotation. So chambering, stance, and rotation. You notice on every right cross, it seems like you pivot your back foot and recoil the cross back to your body. So most of the punches are coming back to your face and you're in a good stance. Now we compare to your first round of sparring. Right away, there's a difference in your stance. And hand positioning is different as well. So of course, technique is adversely affected. Notice that's not the same jab that the student was throwing earlier on the heavy bag. Definitely not the same 1-2 combination. There was no rotation on the right cross. So anxiety and fear are affecting, look at that right cross, the form of the student. Okay, there's an attempt at a parry and right cross that's not thrown correctly. So you see it negatively once again affects form and technique. Alright, so look at the stance depth here. Alright, an attempt once again at an overhand right cross with form and technique adversely affected once again by anxiety. Coming up, we're going to see how anxiety affects the jab. Watch right here. As Liz attempts to double jab, as you can see, the speed is probably half of what she's capable of. Here we're going to see another overhand right thrown technically incorrect. There's no shoulder, there's no hip rotation, there's no snap to the punch. Alright, so in effect, it's not a punch. This is important because only scoring punches are going to be scored in a USA boxing match. Additionally, when you sweatbox and you do pad work, only punches with snap, recoil, and rotation are going to land properly on the focus pad. There's an attempted counter right here. I'm not sure if it's a check hook or an uppercut, but see it's thrown entirely incorrectly. Here's another one here. So you're backing up, both hands are down, and you're trying to throw what looks like an uppercut. Watch here on 15, there's an attempted jab and sort of a flailing uppercut sort of punch, but those are not punches. They're thrown technically incorrect, so you'll get no credit on those. Now, let's flash forward or flash back to the bag work earlier in the day. Notice the student here is working on form and technique. Everything looks a lot tighter. The hands are in a better offensive position. She's getting shoulder rotation, hip rotation, and stance depth. In this round, the hand positioning looks to have improved. It's a bit lower, the shoulders are more forward. However, notice here, there's a counter shot, you're twisting the wrong direction, and the punch is thrown incorrectly.
Don't throw it like that. Punch, don't push. Understand? So yes, you go. Box like your bag work.
Okay, for the rest of the tutorial, I'm going to take away the volume completely, so we can just use our optics to really focus on what the form looks like on these combinations. Right here, there was a counter combination, a 3-4, and as you can see, neither hook was thrown properly. They were kind of flailing. It's flailing. There's slaps and flails. Remember, none of these are going to be counted in a USA boxing match. Okay. Also, in terms of ring generalship, judges look at technique. So if punches are thrown improperly like this, see, there's no rotation, there's no chambering. There's not going to be any credit given for those punches. All right. Plus, when you throw with that type of technique, it's an indication of a lack of training, a lack of expertise, a lack of experience. And judges want to see fighters that look experienced. So you can see here on the heavy bag, the form looks completely different. This looks like a trained fighter. Right? The hands are in a classic guard or low peekaboo position. There's rotation and recoil on the body shots. This fighter completely standing upright, and the punches are flailed or swung in a slapping motion. All right, so this is a very, very different approach to technique, and it's entirely dictated by this fighter's level of anxiety, fear, and composure. So the moral of the story, the moral of the session is be composed, have no fear, because fear will only make you look like you're not trained. It will take away from your performance level. It will take away from the years and years of training you've amassed. Okay, all the hours and hours of practice. You won't get a chance to demonstrate if fear is a part of the equation when you are boxing. You must have no fear. You must have only passion and love in your mind, passion and love for what you're doing, the creation of art, the ability to express yourself aggressively and viscerally with all of the skills and tools that you have acquired. Now look at here. Here's an attempt at a check hook, but because you're in a state of panic, you can see you're flailing with your right hand. Of course, the hook won't be delivered aggressively and technically sound. All right, here we're working in the pocket. Many of those counter shots are not thrown with any type of aggression as well. So if we can go back to the bag work that you had in the beginning, the hands were in a much different posture. See, they were low peekaboo, the back knee was bent, there was rotation on the punches and recoil. And that's what you want to do in all of your rounds. Okay, so the lesson for both of you as students is to realize that you must eliminate fear from your intellectual vocabulary so that you can perform like this. So here you see once again, this is a very light round of bag work that Liz is doing earlier in the week. There's rotation, recoil on all the punches. The hands are in the proper position. There is no fear here. So why should there ever be fear at any portion or any part of your training?